The first update we have today is centered on reality TV personality Teresa Giudice. Now, if you follow Real Housewives of New Jersey, you know Teresa is, well, a central figure. She's been pretty vocal lately, calling her own show toxic and saying it lacked comedy.
Hmm.
But what's really interesting is how this public critique sits next to her off-camera actions and what she claims about her, authentic self, especially with all the talk about financial stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's unpack this toxicity thing she mentioned. Teresa really went for it, saying season 14 got so dark. She put it down to, I think she called it a war with her sister-in-law, Melissa Gorga, and also mentioned other cast members attacking her relationship with Louise. She literally said the show lacked comedy and just became stressful, and for what? But hang on, isn't that kind of drama the point for viewers sometimes?
That's a really good point. And it's a tricky balance. Viewers do often tune in for conflict, for that authentic drama, but there's definitely a line. When it tips over into what feels like, genuine deep-seated pain or real family implosion, it can actually push the audience away. It stops being sort of entertaining drama you watch from a distance. It starts feeling uncomfortable, maybe a bit too voyeuristic. Teresa's comments really illustrate that when that war feels too real and too relentless, it maybe loses its entertainment value for everyone involved, apparently, even the stars.
Right. And that feeling of toxicity seems directly linked to her other point about her own personality. She insists the fun, real Teresa is totally different from what ends up on the show. She talks about friends, saying she's so fun to hang out with and funny. But then she adds, Teresa is around with my friends, not when I'm filming with my old cast members.
Well, it strongly suggests that the on-screen version of her might just be a reaction, a response to those very specific, often confrontational situations rather than her baseline personality. It implies the on-screen behavior is more about navigating those specific, difficult dynamics than just who she is fundamentally.
Okay, so if the fun Teresa isn't really on RHONJ, where do we see it? Because there's this other piece. Picture this. Teresa, she's 53, and she's caught on video dancing pretty wildly with Whitney, Rose, and Sydney. Like, the descriptions are vivid, getting down on all fours, the hair whipping, rolling onto her neck, legs behind her head, then grabbing hands and spinning. Super energetic. And this happens right when reports are swirling about a huge, $3 million tax debt she and her husband Louis supposedly owe. That's quite a juxtaposition.
And what's fascinating there, connecting it back, is how that public display, happening alongside serious financial pressure, it kind of speaks to this idea of, let's call it performative resilience. It's not just about image management. It feels like actively pushing back against a negative story. When financial issues surface, some public figures might retreat, but others, perhaps like Teresa here, seem to double down on projecting joy, maybe even carefree energy. It demonstrates this strategy public figures sometimes use to project being unfazed, projecting control, using their actions, their body language almost, as a form of PR, even if it seems contradictory to outsiders.
Right. And speaking of those financial matters, she did address them briefly on her podcast. She said, I'm not running from anything, acknowledging that old issues got pulled into the present, and she mentioned she made changes to my team.
Yeah, and that clarifies something important. Resolving tax issues, especially big ones, is usually a long road. It's complex. Saying she changed her team, that's a pretty standard crisis management move. It signals publicly, okay, I'm taking this seriously, I've got new people on it. It kind of buys time and shows a commitment, at least publicly, to tackling the problem. It demonstrates a forward look, even while dealing with past stuff.